up? It's Full Metal Digimon. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm showing you branded Despia. So this is my personal branded Despia list. I got real tired of the Engine Frankfurt engine, so this is what I have landed on, and I'm loving it right now. To go over, we have one Despian Comedy, one Despian Tragedy. Comedy is a monster negate from the hand. Tragedy searches when it is sent to the graveyard and banished by a card effect, which is amazing. We play 3 Ash Blossom to negate other branded fusions, 3 Fallen of Albaz because it is not a bad normal summon. Alibur is the main searcher of the deck. This card is at 2, so we play it at 2. This is the main card you want to see. Albaz is just like a walking super poly. You can discard 1 card to fusion summon using him and any monsters your opponent has on the field. We also play 1 Mercurier, which is a, again, monster negate from the hand, but it also has a similar effect to Tragedy, where it can search a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it if it is banished, which isn't too bad because it searches Spriggan's Kit. This is another starter. Since Alibur is at 2, I decided to play this at 2 as well. This lets you search one of your branded spell or traps from your deck and place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. It can also recycle branded spells and traps that are banished or in your graveyard, which is pretty good to let you recycle. And as an extender, since it says if you have a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material on your field or in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. And that card in the graveyard does not even need to be properly summoned. We play 1 Dramaturge, since this card lets you go in for OTKs pretty easily. If you use it as a fusion material, it will special summon itself. And then if your opponent special summons a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster, or actually if you summon one either, you can target 1 effect monster and negate its effects until the end of the turn. We play 1 Albion the Shrouded Dragon. Since it does mention Fallen of Albaz, we can search this with a lot of other cards in our deck, and it basically allows you to dump a branded opening to the graveyard to protect your fusion monsters, and then shuffle himself back into the deck and draw a card. We play 1 Ad Libitum of Despia. This is one of the better cards in this deck. This allows you to special summon 1 Despia or level 8 or higher fusion monster that's in your graveyard or banished when you use this card as material. This is the counterpart to Dramaturge. We do still play 2 Polymerization, just because when you have this in the graveyard, Guardian Chimera is untargetable, which is awesome, but it also adds a layer of protection in a way against Ash Blossom and stopping your combos short, and just a little bit of extension. We play 3 Allure of Darkness, since all of the monsters in our deck pretty much are dark, and it draws 2 cards, and that's all you need to tell me. We play 3 Branded Fusion. This is an amazing card, and the main combo piece of the whole deck. This says you can summon a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material from your extra deck, using 2 monsters from your hand, deck, or field as fusion material. 2 materials from the deck. Amazing. So you play this card, you send your Tragedy and a Albaz from the deck, and you go ahead and you get started. That'll let you search and perform an additional fusion summon. This is Branded Lost. Branded Lost is a pretty awesome card. It says the activation and effects that include an effect of fusion summon cannot be negated. This does not stop them from Ash Blossoming your branded fusion, which is terrible, but it stops, say, Solemn Judgment or certain monster negates and things like that, which is pretty great. As long as it tries to negate the activation, it will not work. It also says when you fusion summon, you can add a Fallen of Albaz or your Spriggan's Kit to your hand, which is pretty awesome. We do place 2 Super Polymerization. This is a must-have in this deck. It is a board breaker, it's a combo extender, it can be whatever you need. Discards a card, you can discard the Polymerization, protect your Chimera, whatever you need to do. Fuse with your opponent's monsters. It is pretty awesome. Called by the Grave, again, very great in this deck. Stops the Ash Blossom, can stop a lot of monster effects even in decks that don't use it. Stops Sword Soul, stops Math Mechs. Pretty amazing. Crossout Designator an awesome card. It's at 1 now, which is fine because it's just a little bit of insulation. You send any card from you banish any card from your deck, and then you can negate its effects that turn. Forbidden Droplet's a 1-of. We got it from the bundle deals, and you can use it with Crossout, and it's pretty good board breaker, pretty good at negating some pretty pesky monster effects. We do play 2 Branded Opening because it is at 2. I don't think I would even play a third one, honestly, if I had access to the third one, since it is a hard once per turn. It does protect your monsters while it's in the graveyard, but that's only relevant usually once in a whole duel. But it will let you discard a card and special summon a Despia from the deck, which is usually Aliber. We play 2 Branded in red, which lets us target a Despia or Fountain of Albaz in the graveyard, add it to our hand, and then fusion summon, which is awesome and lets us summon Chimera on our opponent's turn, popping cards and drawing cards. And 3 Infinite Impermanence. This is just like one of the better cards in the whole game. As far as a best of 1 format goes, being able to use this when your opponent goes first as a hand trap, or if you're going first, you can set this in the middle column, activate it, negate a whole bunch of cards. Pretty funny, pretty awesome. People don't pay too much attention, and this card is very good for that. Branded Sword is a neat little card. I'm not 100% on it, but it's okay. This card lets you banish branded spells and traps from your graveyard to summon Ice Blade tokens to the field, which are just 2,500 beat sticks for each card that you banish. So you can easily get a ton of damage on board with this, but you can also combo with it a tiny bit. If you send it to the graveyard with your Albion, yeah, his name's Albion, right? Yeah, Albion. You can then banish it from the graveyard to target a banished Fallen of Albaz or Spriggan's Kit and add it to your hand, or even a Mercurier actually, which is pretty cool. And the last card is the Branded Banishment, which is amazing. This is like a trap card, super poly. I might even replace this Branded Sword with a second Banishment just so I draw it more often. You target a Despia or a level 8 or higher fusion, special summon it, and then fusion summon using your opponent's monsters. Alright, so that's it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. Extra deck is looking pretty lit on this one. You got the Starving Venom. Just takes any 2 dark monsters, which is usually 2 of your opponent's monsters. You got the Predaplant Dragostapelia, which is just a fusion monster and a dark monster. This card can negate a card at a quick effect and is great in the Predaplant mirror match, or Predaplant branded mirror match thing. Got Brigand the Glory Dragon. This is just a target for Mirror Jade to send to the graveyard. When it's sent to the graveyard in the end phase, you can add a Tri-Brigade or a Fallen of Albaz to your hand, which is your Mercurier for a monster negate, to Albion that searches any branded spell trap and lets you set it directly from your deck, so you can set Branded in red or Retribution or Banishment or Sword right from the deck. We play 1 Coritis, 1 Masquerade for niche situations. We got the Mirror Jade, the main monster of the whole deck. He's amazing, looks great, love it. You'll find out what it does in the replays. Lubellion, amazing, lets you discard a card to fusion summon by returning to the deck. So I only play 1 since it can return itself to the deck every time to summon a Mirror Jade. Pretty great. We play 1 Albalanatus. Albalanatus is a contact fuse that you can do with Fallen of Albaz and any amount of dragon monsters. If your opponent has dragon monsters on the field, say you're playing a mirror match, they have something on the field, you can just summon the Albaz and summon right into this. You don't have to activate anything. You can take people by surprise a lot and can attack a number of times up to the number of materials used. So it by nature just has 2 attacks. We play 2 Guardian Chimera. This is one of the better cards in the whole deck. You summon this on your opponent's turn, you pop cards, and you draw cards. It has a lot of words. You don't have to read them all. Just know you need 3 materials. It has to be from your hand and from your field. And depending on how many you use, if you use materials from the field, you'll pop a card for each card you used. And if you use materials from your hand, you'll draw a card for each card you use. This card is susceptible to Ash Blossom. because it does draw cards and it has to draw cards. So try to chain block it anytime you can. Despian Proskinian is once again a pretty niche card, but it can target a fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it or banish it, which is amazing. But it doesn't really come up too often, but when it does, it is ultra powerful. 3200, takes a Despia, a light, and a dark. Try to make this with maybe Super Poly. And then I just threw the first Dark Lord in here because, I mean, come on, dude. Really? Alright. Well, that's it for the profile. Yeah, let's just jump right into the replays. Alright, into this first replay. We are going first. And a very good opening hand. We'll go ahead and allure. Ditch in this Edge End Chain since we already have the Fight for Patchwork. Searching for a polymerization and Edge End Chain. This is just extra fusion material. I don't really love this engine. Going for the Aliber, searching the branded fusion. We get the Max C. Here you'll get to see the standard branded combo. I'll pause it for a second to show you. You're going to activate branded fusion, sending your Fallen of Albaz and Despian Tragedy to the graveyard. And you're going to do that summoning your Lubellion the Searing Dragon. This card will let you discard one card to fusion summon by shuffling materials from your graveyard or on the field or banished back into the deck. And then what you want to do is shuffle back the Lubellion and a Fallen of Albaz to summon your Mirror Jade the Iceblade Dragon. And then Despian Tragedy is going to search for your Ad Libitum. Ad Libitum, when used for fusion material, will let you resummon a Despia or level 8 or higher fusion monster, which will be your Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade has the effect that once every 2 turns, it can banish a face-up monster your opponent controls. This is non-targeting, and the requirement is to send an Albion to the graveyard. So you can see we did it to our own Aliber to, in the end phase, set a branded banishment from the deck. Normally you'd want to go for branded in red, and then branded banishment would be your follow-up after that. Branded in red lets you summon your Guardian Chimera, popping cards from the field and drawing cards. Branded Banishment lets you fusion summon using your opponent's monsters. So here we're playing against Labyrinth, and he opens up the field spell and Ariana. We're going to go ahead and negate Ariana since these cards don't have a lot to activate in their main phase. We accidentally trigger his Labyrinth Archfiend here, which stops me from being able to target any fiends for attacks except him. It's not super great, but it does search out a battle trap that I totally forgot about. But here during the battle phase, we branded in red for our Guardian Chimera, triggering the Ad Libitum and the Guardian Chimera. You want to try to chain block the Chimera if you can, because it does draw cards, so it then can be Ash Blossom, believe it or not, which will prevent the popping of cards. So here we pop his field spell, he sets 4 and he passes. So here we pass on our Mirror Jade, though we could have activated again right there, but we're going to save it for a better play. So here we draw into a useless Frightfur, but we're going to summon the Albaz, discarding that to fusion summon, and he has the Dimensional Barrier preventing us from fusion summoning. But we have about 6,300 damage on the field, just in fusion monsters alone already. We go and try to enter the battle phase, but we get Lost Winded, and we'll just go ahead and try to swing in. And he has a Compulse for that, activating the Ariana. We're going to go ahead and Infinite Impermanence, negating the whole column, and her ability, I believe it is to just draw cards, but I don't want that to happen. You can draw a card, yeah. No cards, no card advantage. Tries to Ice Dragon Prison, our card in the end phase, though we can just not worry about it since we negated the whole column. Titaniclad just searches for a Fallen of Albaz in the end phase. You'll see this is the only duel with this deck list. After this, it will be changed up. But yeah. Swings in. His Labyrinth Archfiend's getting pretty big. Here, this is a fun little play. You can summon the Mirror Jade and then just super poly their monsters off the field for a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Putting us back into the game here. He's going to activate the Lost Wind in the graveyard, resetting itself. Annoying little trap card. Actually, just a rare, I believe it is. Let's check that really fast. It is just a rare. Nasty little trap card. Alright, so we're going to Polymerization for 3. 2 on the field, 1 in the hand for another Chimera. We do play 2. This is going to pop 2 cards on the field and draw a card. The Tragedy is going to search for a Despia monster. He's going to Lost Wind, and he has to target Mirror Jade, since Guardian Chimera cannot be targeted while Polymerization is in the graveyard. So we're going to pop the rest of his back row, and he said that's enough, and surrenders. Alright. Okay, and we are into this next duel, and that is a brick if I have ever seen one. 2 Allures, a Courier, Ash Blossom. Ooh, another Ash Blossom. Have to get rid of the Mercurier, though the Mercurier will let you search for the Spriggan's Kit, which is like a worse Aliber, but we can still search the Branded Fusion. We'll shuffle back an Ash Blossom, activate Branded Loss to insulate us a little bit, and Branded Loss also lets you search on Fusion Summon. So here we go into the Lubellion, and then you can activate the Branded Loss and the Tragedy, and you want to do the Lubellion last since your opponent cannot activate effects when they're summoned. So that will chain block everything in the chain. Here we go right into the Mirror Jade. Pretty much the same combo as before. Search for the Ad Libitum. And the Albion the Shrouded Dragon. This will let us dump a branded opening to the graveyard to protect our monsters. I've been running into Raigeki a lot today. I'm not sure what that's all about. And we have the branded in red, and they call by the grave already. So we did not send, and we have a live banish on this, and we're going against pendulums. A little scary. So we're going to go ahead and Ash the Joker. Normally that's a bait, because just like that, they search so often in this deck. You typically want to save your Ash for the Beyond the Pendulum, or the Needle Fiber. No, not Needle Fiber. What's the other one? Electromite. That's him. So he's going to go ahead, search some scales, Pendulum Call for 2, and he's going to Pendulum Summon, it looks like, just 1 monster. Well, that was a bad idea. So here we go, activate the Mirror Jade, chain the Branded in red, and this is going to let us add the Tragedy back to the hand, and Fusion Summon with the 2 in our hand and 1 on the field, which will pop 1 and draw 2. It's important to remember how you're using your Chimera. And so we banish that with the Mirror Jade. And the Branded Loss triggers, the Tragedy triggers, the Guardian Chimera triggers, and then the Ad Libitum triggers. So a bunch of things are about to happen. We're going to summon a Mirror Jade. We're going to pop his other monster and draw 2 cards. Then we're going to search, and then we're going to search. Alright, so completely refill our hand, Branded Loss, search for the kit. Beautiful. He has to end his turn. We have the Albion, search the Branded Fusion. There's almost no way we're losing from here. Draw the Allure, doesn't even matter. We're going to summon the Aliber, grab the Branded Sword, use the Branded Fusion. Now, Branded Sword, besides its OTK, can also be sent to the graveyard to then banish it to return a banished monster that is Fallen or Albaz or mentions it. So the kit or the Fallen of Albaz can be returned to your hand. Very useful. And here, we just fuse some monsters and swing, swing, swing. Very, very easy match here. On to the next duel. Now, I do not remember what we are doing in this match. See, we open pretty rough, a little monster heavy. Solemn, Fossil Diner, Expector Border, Jowgen. What is this toxic nonsense? Inspector Border. So this is a card. I remember DZ made a video about this card way back in the day. That's when I first saw it. It says a whole bunch of words, but basically what this means is you can only activate one monster effect. And it's for every type that's on the field. So he's an effect monster, so you can activate one. So what I'm going to try to do is activate one effect monster, then one fusion monster, or you can just Forbidden Droplet and negate him right at the beginning of the turn. So we discard the comedy since we don't need it right now. We'll lure for 2. Banish the Spriggan's Kit, summon the Aliber. Aliber's the better version since there's no downside to his search. We'll go ahead and Branded Fusion since we felt that he didn't have any Ash Blossom and he didn't add the Solemn Judgment to his hand. We'll go ahead and Lubellion, Tragedy, you know the combo by now. Discard a card. We will fuse into our Mirror Jade. And we will search for the Ad Libitum. This allows you to use your Mirror Jade every turn as opposed to every other turn, which is the weird downside that Mirror Jade has. But this also allows you to search multiple times since we are playing multiple different monsters that will search when sent to the graveyard, such as the Brigand and the Albions. So here we walk right into a Mirror Force. So we go ahead and tribute our Mirror Jade with the Despia Comedy. This is one of the few cards in the deck that send a card to the graveyard as opposed to banish all the time, and that will allow you to use cards like your Branded in Red and your Branded Retribution to get your Mirror Jade back. So go ahead and pass it over. We don't have much we can do right now. He's going to card a Demise for 1. Summon. He felt the Branded in Red, and he surrendered. Easy, easy. Get that garbage troll stuff out of here. And for the last one, we open Pretty Cuckoo for going second. Not so much for going first. Here we're getting ashed. But we have the Called By, thankfully. So we Called By the Ash, letting our Branded Fusion go through. Summoning the Lubellion. Lubellion can then discard a card to Fusion Summon, and Tragedy will search for a Despia monster. Go ahead and discard the kit since we're just going to search for an Aliber anyway. And we can then normal summon the Aliber and search, grabbing a Branded in Red so we can save the banish on the Mirror Jade for his turn. You can, I believe, banish with the Mirror Jade and then fusion summon with the Branded in Red, resummon it with the Libitum, and then banish again. So don't quote me because I don't think I did that in any of these replays. So here he's going to Raigeki. I'm just going to go ahead and activate the Mirror Jade so I can get the search off at the end of the turn. He's just going to destroy the Aliber. Having Aliber in the graveyard is good. Here he's going to Cyber Dragon into the Link Haribo. This triggers his Cyber Dragon Hers to search for Cyber Dragon. And then he uses the Cyber Red system to summon itself. And we're going to Branded in Red for the Tragedy. Fuse the 2 in our hands into a Despian Queritis. There was a time before Branded came out where Despia was a pure deck and Queritis was the main part of the whole thing because it has a funny little line. You can, if this card leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one Fallen of Albaz or Despia monster from your deck. And this will trigger Fallen of Albaz, but we didn't have any Fallen of Albaz fusion summons yet. I actually have an awesome replay involving that I'm gonna put out tomorrow. But here we're gonna trigger the ad libitum, which is gonna resummon the Mirror Jade alongside our Quiritis. And we get to search the Aliber for the follow-up, and he said, oh my gosh, no way, darn meta decks. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. Sorry it took so long to get out, but I wanted to make sure I got some better duels this time for you. Let me know what decks you want to see in the comments down below. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.